Hey everybody, it's Captain Mike and welcome back to episode 3 of Ship Explorer. Today might be a fairly quick one because today we are going to be checking out the SS United States, but we're going to do the dry dock mode. Without any further ado, let's get into it.
America's newest challenge for world supremacy in merchant marine is launched at Newport News. She's the United States, and she's been 16 months of building, with 11 more months to go to complete the luxurious interior fittings. The first passenger ship ever built in a graving dock, the United States is floated by letting water into the dry dock instead of splashing the ship down into the river. Despite the innovation, there's a traditional christening with Senator Tom Connolly's wife wielding the bottle of champagne. At an $80 million cost, the liner is easily the most expensive ever built. She's also the safest, designed for conversion to troop transportation. The government is paying much of the cost, but hopes the United States will serve only in a peaceful merchant marine.
That was fairly quick. Alright. Here we go. We have the SS United States. We're going to have a little tour around. Welcome aboard. As you explore the ship and take in her many details, keep an eye out for interactive features. You'll hear factual narrations read by Mike Brady that highlight key elements of the ship, and you'll discover pieces of its history through found photographs placed throughout. We hope you enjoy stepping back in time to experience this truly remarkable vessel. Nice. I kind of had a look around already, just a tiny bit. Reason why I think it's going to be short, well, because you can't really get up onto the ship. It's just pretty much walking around the dock. William Francis Gibbs left with his brother, Frederick, sometime in the 20s. The duo became a ship designing tour de force and took on many exciting projects. Through the 20s and 30s, building a reputation for obsessive attention to detail, the United States was their magnum opus and the culmination of 3 decades of professional ship design work. Okay. Is there anything? There's nothing else, right? Oof. Okay.
United States bow shape was ideally suited for slicing through waves. It would provide a more comfortable ride for passengers and enable her to maintain her high speed. But below the waterline, a slight bulbous bow also made her more efficient, burning less oil and making it easier for her to cut through the ocean.
Alright. Wow, look at that. I'm standing at the very tip of the bow, looking directly up at it. That is crazy. So she had a bulbous bow. That's really cool. So we're going to take a walk around. I wish you could run in this. I really wish you could run. You can jump and whatnot, but crouch, but no running. Alright.
You're standing in line with the big number 2 cargo hold, with space for stores, baggage, and even cars. The bow is still very thin here, In fact, the unique shape made sure the ship could slice cleanly through the ocean at high speed.
I'm like literally walking underneath the ship. We'll go up our first thing here. And, ooh, look at that. United States near completion in November 1952, with the big fitting out crane swung out to lower equipment down into the dry dock floor or onto the ship itself. Unlike most other ships of the time, United States was actually built from the keel up in a dry dock and floated out. They meant to say from the keel up? I think so.
This is one of the bilge keels that help provide some stability against rolling. The United States was one of the last generation of passenger ships built without retractable stabilizing fins. Instead, these shallow keels on either side of the hull help to keep the ship pointed upright in big seas.
Well, cool. See, I hear all that pounding. They're definitely working on this ship. Look at that. Isn't that something? Are those supposed to be blueprints, or is that tarp? Maybe it's tarp. A magazine article details the huge amount of work and cost going into the new ship. Busy as ants, it says, on an anthill. 3,000 workmen were this week crawling in, out, and over the hull of the SS United States. 70 million vessel designed by Gibbs and Cox Inc. will have 12 decks and has a gross tonnage of 51,500 and a net tonnage of 26,000. With the future completion of the SS United States of the U.S. lines, some predict that the vessel will eclipse the speed record now held by the Great Britain's Queen Mary and Queen Elizabeth. Yep, that's a title she still holds to this day. Now that she's in Mobile, Alabama, they've now taken off both her funnels. So it's definitely coming to the end of the SS United States. So yes, this is as far as I can go up. I've tried different stairways, but yeah, this is as far as I can get up on each one. Unfortunately, it won't allow me to go up there. Okay, here's one.
The United States featured an inner hull, like a second skin, that rose up high from the keel and protected from impacts from the side. But the empty spaces created by the inner skin provided a crucial purpose, serving as fuel tanks for the vast amount of oil required to keep United States roaring ahead. She was burning about 600 tons of the stuff every day.
I can believe it. Is there nothing here? No? Okay. Well, I'm coming up to the ship's propellers. Oh, here's another one.
Behind the shell plating here is the mail room, a critical storage space for all the parcels, letters and crates posted overseas. The coveted US mail contract helped subsidize the United States operation, and her speed meant the timely delivery of important mail.
Nice. Wow, look at that propeller. The cover of a HVAC manual, the United States hull, was a giant steel container. Keeping it supplied with fresh air was no easy task. Miles of ventilation, trunking snaked through covered bulkheads and over the passengers' heads and ceilings. The ship also could boast air conditioning plant that kept air temperatures throughout at a steady and comfortable level at every time of year. Keeping the system running was no easy task. A manual like this would have been invaluable for engineers who had to maintain it and troubleshoot issues. Donated to the SS United States Conservancy in memory of Thomas A. Tom Gilbertson, P.E. So one of the things I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to see if I can make this work in VR. Because I want to go exploring in virtual reality. Wow, look at that. Look at those propellers. We got the rudder right there. Okay. Yeah, this is a sight that most people don't see.
The balanced rudder at the stern post here was similar to those fitted to battleships and aircraft carriers. It was well suited to use at high speeds and made United States fairly maneuverable, even for a ship of her size and speed.
I see another one right here.
These propellers were designed by a team headed by the female engineer Elaine Kaplan, who was handpicked by Chief Architect William Francis Gibbs. She and her team created the brilliant screws, which each weighed 60,000 pounds, or about 30 tons.
Wow. Alright, what do we have here?
Famously, the United States could go as fast backwards as many ships could manage going forwards. On
Cool.
her sea trials, it said that she travelled at 22 knots while going in reverse, which would actually be top forward speed for most ships.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. Look at that counter stern. That is just incredible. Oh. Okay, I'm up against the wall. That is so cool. Okay, I'll try one more time over here. See if I can get up. But I doubt it. Nope, just as I thought. Danger, keep clear propellers. That's still a cool shot though. Look at that, that is so cool. Any new points here? There's one. Oh, I think I gotta go up there. Nothing there.
United States' forward set of propellers featured 4 blades, cast of manganese bronze, while the aft pair behind them had 5 blades instead. This provided exceptional hydrodynamic performance, and it had actually been used on vessels like the USS Iowa and her sisters during the war.
Nice. Okay. How about up here? There's got to be more photos. Yes, there is. November 1952, and United States bronze propellers are installed through the use of a complex chain and pulley system in dry dock. In the days of steam through the 1900s and 1930s, ships' propellers usually chopped through the ocean at around 75 revolutions per minute. Not so for the SSUS. Her after set of props with their 5 blades were capable of an incredible 325 RPM.
You're standing almost in line with the watertight bulkhead that separated the aft boiler and engine rooms. The engine room here, like its forward equivalent, featured 4 turbine engines, each made up of a high and low pressure turbine, a similar arrangement of machinery to the Iowa-class battleships of the Second World War. All up, the turbines could produce an astounding 247,785 shaft horsepower at full steam.
Seems like a lot of them are right here underneath the hull. Alright, what's up here? So cool. Okay. Engineering company Raytheon provided much of the advanced navigational equipment that helped the United States find her way home in even the worst of the fog and heavy weather. This magazine clipping shows an advertisement for the then cutting-edge 16-foot radar unit. Nice. Or is it 16-inch?
Because the boiler and engine rooms were separated into 2 separate units, the space in between could be used for storage, unlike on other ships where a single powertrain took up the entire length of the ship's lower hull. Behind the plating here was storage for fruit, potatoes, vegetables, linen, and even beer.
Okay. So it looks like we got another one right here.
Here is about level with the forward engine room. The turbine engines were separated into forward and aft rooms, each paired with a boiler room to protect against gunfire or torpedo attacks, hinting at the ship's secret dual purpose as an efficient troop transport in times of war.
It was traditional for many hundreds of companies and suppliers that provided goods and equipment to big ships to capitalize on the publicity. Here, General Electric proudly proclaims the seagoing city to be lit throughout with GE equipment.
This is one of the bilge keels that help provide some stability against rolling. The United States was one of the last generation of passenger ships built without retractable stabilizing fins. Instead, these shallow keels on either side of the hull help to keep the ship pointed upright in big seas. You're standing outside the forward boiler room. In here were 4 Babs and Wilcox superheated boilers running at an astounding 925 psi of steam pressure and temperatures exceeding 970 degrees Fahrenheit or 520 Celsius. It's a long way to the back of the ship, but I promise it's worth the walk. The United States is 990 feet or 304 meters long, about the length of more than 2.5 football fields. This enormous anchor is one of 3 kept on the ship's bow. Although they were rarely used between Southampton and New York, they proved invaluable on cruises where smaller ports couldn't fit the ship. The Big U could anchor out in the harbour and ferry passengers ashore via tender.
Okay, so I guess that's really the end of the episode. It's just really a walk around the dock. So I'm gonna leave it right here. A nice shot of the bow. And yeah, guys, wait until the next episode when we will go aboard the SS United States at sea. That will be episode 4. So guys, stay tuned for that. I know this was a short one, but that's alright. So, I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye for now.